Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. This is the Artist Fund Professional Development Webinar Series. Our focus today is social media marketing with our guests Betty Sandoval and Susan Hain. And this is our professional webinar series presented by the Artist Fund at Festival of Arts. I'm Wendy Worth. I'm Vice President of the Artist Fund, and we're a nonprofit organization created to assist Festival of Arts artists, past and present, with unforeseen financial hardship. And we also offer some career enhancing services. And this webinar is one of those services. Before we begin, I wanted to review a little bit about our grant program. It's for any past or present Festival of Arts exhibitor that's a working artist, and you can apply for these grants year round. We have two types: our hardship grant, which is for those with financial need, and it's usually for medical, anything that might come up that's unexpected. These applications are always anonymous, and these grants are provided mainly by our Art2Go program, which is in the summertime. The other type is our enrichment grant, and it's merit-based, and that's for those seeking financial awards for growing their careers. Our speakers today are two of our board members on the Artist Fund. Sharon Jackman, who's a ceramist at the Festival of Arts, and she is the chairperson of our Professional Development Committee, the Artist Fund. And Susan Hain, also a painter and FOA artist, and on the advisory committee, and she is going to be interviewing Betty and letting us know how she's helped her build her brand on Instagram. So I'm going to introduce you now to Sharon, who's going to take over the conversation and kind of steer you in a real conversational approach to learning Instagram.
Sharon? Okay, well, I just wanted to really welcome Betty warmly. We're really glad to have her. She's been working with Susan for some time to help her develop her Instagram and make it more effective. And so that was what gave us the idea to actually share this information with a broader group of artists. So welcome, Betty.
Thank you.
Quick look at what we're going to cover today. We're going to try and help you artists kickstart your Instagram presence. Understanding how essential Instagram can be as a tool to market yourself and your work, bring awareness to your amazing work. Some of the main talking points are going to be utilizing Instagram to build your presence, creating a virtual gallery, and connecting with the art community and networking digitally. So now I'd like to turn it over to Susan, who's going to be interviewing Betty on various topics within the framework of Instagram.
Thank you, Sharon. And again, welcome, Betty. Thank you for joining us today. You know, several months ago, I did hire Betty as a social media consultant to show me the benefits of social media and to grow my brand as an artist, and also to give me a step-by-step tutorial on all things Instagram. She was a tremendous help, and I learned a lot. And now we would like to share some of her expertise with you. Betty, tell us why you think artists benefit from being active on Instagram.
Yeah, thank you so much for that warm welcome from everybody. I'm happy to be here today, and I'm happy to share the knowledge that I have. I hope this, helps in some way, shape, or form, just to kickstart your Instagram while you're, building your business, building your brand, building your portfolio. What we're going to start with today is Instagram. So social media, as you know, has become a very popular form of marketing. Everything is going digital. So why not go to Instagram to, market yourself? And I really want artists to really focus and think of themselves as a brand, as a business, because essentially you're creating art so that others can consume it, others can purchase it. And I want to help you build that presence on Instagram and help you, feel confident, feel comfortable with navigating the platform. Why an artist should utilize Instagram is because Instagram has the capability of reaching so many different types of people, from, in the art world, from galleries to other artists, to events, things that you know can go to, or people can come to you, find out where you're presenting your art, find out what type of art you're selling. It's just a great tool to discover and be discoverable. So later on in this presentation, we're going to go through how we can become discoverable and how you can discover other things. But a few things will consist of like keywords, hashtags, etc. But this will really help you feel comfortable and confident in navigating the social space, specifically on Instagram.
One of the first things, Betty, you did was you helped me with shaping my bio in a way that was clear and effective for people to know who I am as an artist and what my style is. Can you dive deeper into what artists should focus on while writing their bio?
Yeah, of course. So as you see here, this is an example of Susan's Instagram feed, and basically it's just like a holistic view of what it looks like. What I really want to focus on before we dive into the bio is having an Instagram account that is a business account. And that is a very simple step in your settings, that you can create your current Instagram account or create a new Instagram account for your art, but making that a business profile. I will link a video down below in the description of how to do that. But as you can see in Susan's profile, she is labeled as an artist. Not only does that make her more discoverable, because that acts as a keyword, and we all know what search engine optimization is. Social media uses a form of that as well. So having that title on her Instagram helps people know who she is, helps her be discoverable, and the algorithm picks up on that as well. So that is an easy step that you can start with, and then writing your bio. So I want you to think about this as like a very concise, effective way of telling people who you are when they visit your Instagram page. It's not going to be, what you have at a booth in a gallery or in your website. It's just going to be something that tells the user what style of art you do, where you draw your inspiration from, and then where you're based as well, if you're interested in that. But here's an example of Susan's, and you can also research other artists to get inspiration from them, just to see, what are people putting in their bios, and what can you put in your bio that's personalized to you as an artist. And then finish that off with a link to your website if you have a website. This will give people somewhere to go to learn more about who you are, see more of your art, whatever it is that you have on your website that can add value to you as an artist. You can drive them to there as well. And this link does click out to the link that it's attached to.
Yeah, so it's basically a clear, concise, in as few words as possible, a description of who you are and who you potentially want to reach.
Yes, correct. And again, all of those, words in your bio will also act as keywords for the algorithm to find you, for people to, when they search, oil painter or landscape painter, you're gonna rank higher in the algorithm because you have those words in your bio.
Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so another question I have is, an important step you had me do was go through my profile and archive posts that were unrelated to my artwork in order to have a cohesive feed that resembled a portfolio, like an artist's portfolio. Can you explain the benefits of that step?
Yeah, of course. So that takes us to our next slide, which is creating a cohesive Instagram feed. And yeah, so one of the first steps after creating the bio and, cleaning that section up, that I worked with Susan closely on was making her Instagram feed look as close as possible as a portfolio. And then you think about it as like a digital portfolio where people can come and tour your art virtually, right? So they don't have to go to a gallery, they don't have to go to an event, they can just see, you know, front and center what your style is, who you are. And this should really match your style of the type of art you do, the type of who you are as an artist, whatever that is. It can be as unique and as personalized as you want it to be. But in Susan's situation, we felt that this was the best cohesive look for her. You know, she had other posts with like, you know, people or at events, but that wasn't really adding a lot of value to her Instagram feed in her situation. So we removed those posts, we archived them, and we just kept this as clear and as you know, picture perfect as we could, so that people can really have an idea of who she is. Right when they enter her profile, they're like, okay, I know what style she's into, who she is as an artist, and that's really that's the key for building this Instagram feed.
Okay, great. You also encouraged me to create and follow a post caption template that was personalized to me and my art. And what are the key pieces of information to mention in the caption?
Yeah, so now that we've seen holistically what the feed looks like, we'll kind of zoom into one post specifically, which in this case, again, it's Susan's post, one of the many that we curated for her. This is a great way to utilize, you know, Instagram to give people or give the readers information about your art. Again, I want you to look at this template as kind of like an inspiration. It doesn't have to be exactly this, but you can make it as personalized to you as you want. This is just what worked for Susan, and this is what I would recommend. But what this does is it tells the reader, you know, what the name of your art piece is, what type of art you do. So in Susan's case, this is an oil on canvas. The size of the canvas is also very important, you know, because people are looking around for a certain, I'm sure, like size for their homes, for their galleries, whatever it is. It's important to know. And then I also think it's important to have if it's available for purchase or not. The cool thing about Instagram is that it allows you to edit your posts and your captions. So you can, if you do sell this piece, so that you're not like misleading or, you know, people are inquiring constantly about a piece that might have already sold, you can always, you know, put in parentheses like sold, or change the available for purchase to sold. But this tells people, you know, this is available. If you're interested, inquire for price points. And then a small blurb of like where you drew inspiration. I know as a consumer myself, I like to understand like, where does your brain go when you know, when you're starting to think about what you're going to paint or draw or, you know, create. So just a quick little description will suffice. And then hashtags. Hashtags are very important. We will get into this a little bit later in the presentation, and I will walk you through why those are important. But what I recommend you do is, and what we did with Susan, is we picked basically any range from like 5 to 8 hashtags that are very personalized to her and to her style. And we honed in on those, right? We did our research. We saw what kind of posts were in those hashtags in those communities. And we really thought like, these are the best ones to tap into. And as you can see from the picture, is that they're not all related to paint. So they're not all related to art. Some are Napa wineries, one is Napa Valley. And why those are key for her is because that's what she's focusing on. That's her style and type of art that she's creating. So she wants to tap those communities and those hashtags because they're most likely interested in that style of art. And it's really going to be key for that. But we will get into the hashtags a little bit later. But I do recommend, you know, choosing at least 5 and at max 8 that are personalized. They can fluctuate and they can be different from post to post because, you know, every art piece is different. So, whatever works for you, you can have two that are, consistent throughout your posting content, or you can have them all be different. But I would really, do that legwork of searching and seeing like which ones are key for you.
Betty, when when you're looking at these hashtags and you're trying to decide which ones to choose from, do you go by the number of people that are following, or do you go by, or do you actually go on the hashtags and see what relates more to your
Yeah.
work?
That's a really good question. So both. Because you can do hashtag art, and that probably has like 5 million posts in it.
Right.
That's great. That shows that, that hashtag is being used all the time. But what we want to do is we want to make it more personalized to you and not as general, because if it's that general, you might not rank high in the content that's found within that hashtag. So it kind of defeats the purpose of using the hashtag. You really want to find these like niche communities that have a good amount of following, have a good amount of content in them, but aren't, as general to the public, because you want to you want to be discoverable, right? So you want to rank higher in the contents that is being posted across the hashtags. So it can go both ways. You can find some that are, 100 posts only. If you feel like, this is important for me and I want to add this hashtag, I would, go ahead and do that. I think, staying maybe in the thousands. So if you find a hashtag that's 1,000 up, that's where you kind of want to stay. And then I would stay away from like very general hashtags like hashtag art, hashtag painting, because those, again, you're not going to rank high in the algorithm for them. I mean, you might, it's not to say you won't, but from my experience, it's challenging because it's updating per second. So if there's, thousands of content pieces being posted per second with that hashtag, you're going to get dug deep in that hashtag.
Okay,
Mhm.
that's good. Good to know. Now that we've talked about how to set up an Instagram feed, I'd like to say that there were multiple occasions where I had trouble, finding enough content to put on, because I think you suggested posting like 3 to 5 times a week. And, it could be not finished with a painting or in between painting. And so it was difficult for me to think of things to post, but you helped me overcome this by selecting content pillars. So could you tell us about what content pillars are?
Yeah, of course. So content pillars is a marketing term. I don't, expect everybody to use this term when they're creating content, but I wanted to have it here so that we really understand, like, because everybody goes through a, creative block, right? Whether it's painting, whether it's creating content for Instagram, whatever it is, we all experience that. What content pillars really help you do is come back to a place. They're your pillars, or your pillars for your Instagram feed. So you want to look at these as like themes within your feed, themes within your content, and you want to select like maybe 5. I would say is a good number. You can have more, you can have less, but I think that's a good number to start. And what this will help with in the long run is when you are having that creative block, you will think like, okay, well, what's one of my pillars and what can I create for that pillar? And just to give you an example, for Susan, we did this. We created pillars for her. And as you can see in this array of images, is that these are all her different types of pillars. To you or to the viewer who's scrolling on her Instagram, that doesn't mean anything. It's really for her to know and understand. But one of her pillars is a video of her painting, right? So she just takes a quick little video of her, painting, touching up a painting, whatever it is. But that's one of her pillars. So she can, expand on that however she wants. She can create numerous videos or content pieces of of her painting. Another one is a video of her gallery, or where her art is, and the galleries that her art are located. Again, that can be as creative as you want. You can create as much content within that pillar as you want. And then she also has, displaying art in her home. So that could be found anywhere. She can have art pieces all over her home, all over her daughter's home, all over her son's home, everywhere, and she can create content based off of that. So this will really help with, one, the cohesiveness of your feed, because you'll start to get into like this content pattern, I'd call it, of, posting. And then you really won't run into that creative block. You'll think, okay, well, how can I expand on that? And it really is known to help with that. So just selecting those, 3 to 10 content pillars. And then this will help you keep up with that cadence of 3 to 5 times per week.
Right.
Yeah.
I noticed that when I posted videos and reels, I got more views, but then when I posted photos, I got more engagement. Is that something that works for everyone, or is that an algorithm working?
Yeah. So actually, we'll talk about how to create a reel on the next slide. But it's a great question, because I want to encourage everybody to not only create, picture content, but also video content, because the way, I'm sure we've all heard of TikTok, and, how, much of a presence it's taken in our generation. But now with that app and that platform here, Instagram is now trying to keep up with that as well. So what they've done is that they've altered their algorithm to preference video content. And why that's important is because you become more discoverable. So creating content through video and posting it to your reels, it allows you to enter this algorithm that's far beyond your followers and your fan base. Like, people who follow you will see it, but it also funnels into this other mini platform that it becomes discoverable to so many different type of people. And not only is it discoverable because of the video, the type of video, or like the style of the video, but you can, be discoverable through the sound that you use. And Instagram has, hundreds of thousands of sounds on there available. And then your caption, again, works as a keyword. So it's natural to see that your views are higher with video posts, because you are reaching and tapping into a larger audience, versus photos. Photos are still very effective, and that your followers will see that. And, it's not to say one is better than the other, but it's just the way that the algorithm works. The algorithm is preferencing video.
Yeah, and it's interesting, even when I just had a latest painting that I just finished, I'll just hang it on my wall, and I'll use a video to zoom in to the center part of the painting and zoom out. So it's still considered a video, even though it's just, showing my one piece of work, which then, encourages a lot more.
And that's the beauty, I think, of creating content, is it can be as simple or as intricate as you want it to be.
Right.
And you can really do whatever you want. It's your style, it's your content, as long as it's captured in a vertical format versus a horizontal format. I think that's something to really focus on, because it's optimized for the platform. If you ever, scroll through your videos on your Instagram, you'll see that most of them are, long verticals versus like a horizontal. And a good example of a horizontal video would be something you watch on YouTube. That's not what we want to create for Instagram. Instagram, we want just a vertical angle, so that way it's appealing to the eye. People are going to most likely stop and view it if it's optimized for it.
Great. So now you're going to show us how to post a video.
Yes. So I have a few videos recorded here, and bear with me if, I have to continuously have to stop and pause, but I will walk through this as clear as I can to show you guys really like what that step is. And just for the viewer to know, this is a simple use of a reel. Again, you can go into editing, rabbit hole and, create like a really great, fantastic reel, or you can keep it really simple and, like this one that I'm about to show you. And then before we dive into that, I also wanted to show this picture of Susan's Reels tab, which is great because we started focusing on video for her as well. And I just wanted to see, what that would mean for her profile, what that would mean for her content. And actually one that she captured all by herself after learning how to, garnered more than 22,000 views, which is, fantastic. As you can see from the other ones, they're average
not as good.
not as good. Yeah, and then that's okay, but something with this one worked for her, and it reached so many people, which also increased her followers. So it's kind of like this domino effect of like, the more eyeballs you get on your content, the more you're going to make a presence. So people are either going to follow you, or they're going to know about you, or they're going to tell their friend about you, or however that is. It's a beautiful thing when it starts to work in your favor. But that's the important part of being consistent too, is that you want to keep posting so that you keep being relevant, keep being active on this platform. But yeah, this is a great one. And I don't know, before we dive in, Susan, do you want to tell us like why this one performed so well? Because just to give like a little blurb, this is not a usual video for her. It's really like showcasing an interior with an art piece mixed in.
And I think we'll be going into this later about community engagement, but at the time I just had remodeled my house, and so I was spending a lot of time. Instagram is a great place to purchase things and to get ideas for things, and this was one of the reasons why my interest in Instagram for shopping is what made me think, well, people could view my art and see my art the same way, and that's what really made me start this whole relationship that you and I have developed.
Yeah.
To get better at it. But I've been going on designer art, and then I created this video of the art in my living room, because people buy art, they want to see what it looks like in their home, or they visualize what it could look like in their home as well. But the combination of me going the back end, going on all these things, I think really created a lot more viewers, and it was amazing. I mean, there were people from all different countries. I mean, you could find that were viewing it, so that was kind of fun. And maybe it was the music, maybe it was the time of day, maybe it was the way I videoed it. And I think later on we'll be talking about that, about the professional dashboard, and we'll show how you can find out, well, what was it about this particular video that garnered all this attention.
Yes. Yeah, no, that I think that's a really cool insight into how you can translate, interior design with art. And maybe it's not obvious to some, and maybe, or maybe it is, but that is, I think, the beauty of creating content, the beauty of the algorithm is that you can cross different industries, different, things, and still be relevant in them. So that's what happened with Susan, is she was simply using her Instagram for, interior design purposes and looking it up. And then, it happened that she garnered all of these views to her reel, which is really fun and exciting. And this is what you would call a micro viral video. So congrats on that.
Thank you. But you also told me not to go on my professional things, to look at like shoes or latest clothing that I may be interested in purchasing, because that kind of disrupts the algorithm that I'm trying to create.
Yeah, it's true. And you know what? You proved me a little bit wrong in that sense, because and again, it's not obvious to everybody, and it's not, you know, it's not something you think about, but what I did tell Susan was that, you know, when starting your Instagram account or taking it serious, or, you know, really trying to build that presence, really keep that profile to only researching related things to you, like whether it's ceramics or it's, you know, oil painting or whatever that is for you. Keep it as relevant to that as possible, because again, the algorithm is learning you, and it's learning who wants to see your content, who they should push it out to. So you know, I don't advise like looking up like food recipes on, you know, on your page, because it might not translate, but it might, you never know. So, you know, it's,
If you paint
that's the,
food, yeah, that would be.
you paint food, exactly. So it's all, you know, there's this hidden secret behind the algorithm, but I just love that, you know, this is what was the outcome of you researching interior
Yeah,
design,
that
and
was great.
it shows that it can go together. So
Right.
now that we've talked about the really exciting reel that went viral, we can look at how to upload. It's a simple upload of a video, how to add the sound, and then how to publish it, and then we'll watch what that looks like. And again, you know, work with me as we walk through it together. But to start, okay, so this is the view of your profile. You want to click on this little plus button icon at the top. That's where you're going to upload your content. So you click on that, and then it's going to give you this page of options, because you can now post reels, you can post just a post, which is a picture, you can post story, et cetera, et cetera. But for today's purpose, we're going to focus on the reel. But for a post, you would just go post. But for today, it would be the reel. So you click on the reel, and then it's going to bring you to this page right here, which this means you can either just record it live. I've never really done that. I do that more with like stories. So naturally, you would probably already have a video recorded, which is what we did with Susan. She went to Napa, and she visited one of the galleries where her art is. And I was like, capture content, you know, just take videos, and I'll help you upload it. So this is basically what this is. So she kept it from a few weeks ago, and now we're going to use it to upload it. So then you want to click on this little plus sign or plus icon down here. That's where all your content's going to be found. And it'll swipe up to all of your content pieces and all of your videos. For the purpose of this, I've blocked everything out, but we have Susan's video here. And then this is a screenshot I took of the video, because you'll see later in the video, to add a thumbnail, it's most likely best to do that by taking a screenshot, but we'll talk about that. So then you want to click on the actual video, which is what I do here. You click on it. I like to just look at it. So now this is in my queue, and I'm just going to take a quick look and say, okay, this is what I want. This is the video that I want to work on. Looks good to me. I'm not really going to edit it. I like the way that it's filmed. So now we're going to focus on adding music to it, because again, like I said earlier, the music adds another element of discoverability to the algorithm. So, and not only that, I really want to say that like choosing the right sound for your video goes such a long way, because you're activating like this emotion to people. You're taking them on an experience basically. So you're providing this ambient sound to go along with them. And it's a really important part. Don't spend all your time figuring out, the right sound, but it is a part you do want to spend some time on. So this is the video again. I click on, sorry, I keep going back, but you click on the little music icon right here. And just so we all know what these icons mean, you can add text here if you want to do like text in the frame. We're not going to do it for the purpose of this video, but you can add stickers, you can draw on the video. But for today, we're just going to do music. So this little icon here, you just want to click on that. And then it brings you to this, beautiful, playlist library of all of the sounds that are available to you through Instagram. What I want to do first, since there was original sound from the video, is I want to turn that off because it's not really providing anything to the viewer. So we're going to hit on controls. And then this is where you see the volume, and you're going to take it all the way down. So basically just all the way to 0. And then you want to come back to your music library and search the sound you want. If you know the name of the song, which I did, you can type it in to the search bar, or you can type in keywords such as like instrumental or jazz or indie, like whatever genre too, it will populate that for you. But in this case, I knew the sound that I wanted to use, so we clicked it. You can test it to see if it actually is what you want it to sound like. And then you just click on it. So that sounds great to me. So you click on it, and then it basically allows you to move the sound if you want a different part of the song, because again, this video is only like less than 10 seconds. So if wherever I want that song to start for those 10 seconds, you can, manipulate that. I like it where it started, so I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to press done up here. And that's basically how you add the sound to your video and now your reel. So once you do that, that's what it's going to sound like. We'll watch it at the end. And then you're going to click next. Once you're like, yep, this is it. This is the sound I want. This goes with, what I want to convey. You're going to hit the next button, which is going to take you to the next screen. And here is basically where you're going to enter all of your fun, caption. You want to edit your cover photo. So let's start with editing our cover photo. You're going to click on that button, which is edit cover. Okay, and then that screenshot you guys saw previously, it's going to appear again right now. So you're going to click on add from camera roll. And when you click on that, it's going to bring your library back up. You're going to click on that picture, and there's your cover photo. And what a cover photo is, or a thumbnail, is just basically what it's going to sit, what you're going to see when people go to your page, like all of these over here for Susan. That's what you're going to see there. And the beauty of this is that you can also fit to screen for your profile grid, since this is it's called a 9:16, but this is a longer vertical format. We want it to make sure that it looks good in feed for the square format. So you're going to click on profile grid, and then you can manipulate it again. So you can bring it down so that, it's a better view of that cover photo. And that's what it's going to look like in your feed. And then you click on done. It looks good. And now you want to focus on writing your caption, and that can be, again, the templated version or whatever it is that you want it to be. With Reels, you don't have to stick to the templated version. It could be something super simple and fun. Take more liberties here, or you can stick with the format. And then you click share, and that is how you upload a video to Reels. So I hope that was helpful. Now let's watch the video so that we could just see what it looks like. And then Susan, if you have any questions, we can go through that.
Yeah.
Hold me closer, me fast, this magic spell you cast. This is love me all. When you kiss me, I'm inside, and though I close my eyes, I see love in your faces. When you press me to your heart, I'm in a world apart, a world of roses. And when it's begin, just sing from above. And everything seems to be us. You are the song to me, and I would.
And that's
There you
it.
go. The music usually sounds better when you're
Oh,
doing
was it a little muffled?
getting out. Yeah.
Okay, well, it
That's
sounded really
great.
good on my end. I would recommend looking that song up, and it's a beautiful sound.
No, I love that song and it works well for that video. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great. So we're gonna link that in this presentation so people can come back whenever they want to get that tutorial on posting a video.
Mhm.
That's great. So we're going next to community engagement. Is that our next topic?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So this is a step that helped me gain exposure with artist communities. And I noticed that when I interacted with artists and galleries, etc., they most likely interacted back with me. Can you tell us why this is a critical step in building your Instagram presence?
Yeah, of course. So, like I said earlier in the presentation, hashtags and keywords are your best friend for being discoverable, for, letting the algorithm know who you are. And community engagement is just, another part of that. So you can use these hashtags to do your community engagement. And what I want you to think of it for community engagement is basically like building a community on Instagram, networking digitally on Instagram. We know how to network in person, but this is your chance and opportunity to network through the app with people who you've never met, people who you're interested in knowing, people who you want them to know you. So this is a really good resource for you, and I highly recommend doing this. This is probably the one, it could be a little bit of a tedious step in building your presence and building that community, but it is probably one of the most important processes in doing that. So again, it helps you foster communities through replying to people's posts, through commenting on posts. And how you do that is as you can see on the first screenshot, is that you type in a hashtag. And I know I said stay away from general hashtags, but for the case of this presentation, I just chose artwork. And then, you can see the different numbers of posts that there are in each hashtag. So, you can go into the 190 million posts, or you can go to the 323,000 posts, that whichever one you want to interact with. When you click on one of them, you're going to see basically this view right here of different styles, different types of arts that are using that same hashtag. And what that allows you to do is you're finding the people who have the same interests as you, people who are like-minded, people who are already in this community. And then you click on one of them or many of them, but to start one of them, and you interact with it. You like it, you comment on it. If you really like the artist, you follow them. If you like the page, you follow them, however that is. And what this will do is it'll bring those eyeballs back to you. So not only will that person who owns that profile see your comment and most likely interact with you or go to your page and interact with your content, now their followers are seeing you as well because your name will pop up. So this is a really good way of expanding your reach into different communities. And then again, it doesn't even have to be another artist. It can be some galleries. It can be people who host events. It can be whatever it is that you want it to be. But the beauty of it is that you can become discoverable and discover too. And I use hashtags for shopping. Like I'm like, oh, if I'm looking for something, I go in there and I research some stuff. If I want inspiration on something, you know, if I am looking to actually purchase something, whatever the case is. But in building your brand or your presence, community engagement is important before and after you post your content. So this is a step that you know, you might not always, because you're like, you know, I've already spent a lot of time creating the content. I've spent a lot of time uploading it. Now I have to go and, you know, interact with people. Like I don't have the time for that, but really 5 to 10 minutes a time is all you need. And why it's important to do it before and after is because when you push out a piece of content, people, if you interact with other people's content, they're most likely going to come back to your page. So they're going to see that fresh new post that you just did. And, you know, I know how valuable time is. And when you spend time creating a piece of content, you want it to be seen. You want people to interact with it. You want it to be successful. So this will really help you get that extra, you know, uplift and engagement through community management.
That's very helpful. Yeah, this was really the key to, I think, growing my my viewers and my followers, was doing the community engagement. And if you find things that interest you, I mean, it sounds kind of tedious to go on and think, okay, but actually you're going on and you're seeing other art that you really like, or something really different than what you're used to seeing. It's worthwhile. But like you said, it pays off for you by doing this. And I think that's important.
I'm just being consistent.
Right.
Awesome.
So was there anything else you wanted to add?
Not on this slide. I think, yeah, just do the legwork of doing it before and after you post, and you will find out it's fun. And sometimes you start to see the same people in the same community, and then you're like, hey, I know that person, and
Right.
it's
Yeah.
really, it's a really cool way of interacting with people.
Right.
So,
Great.
okay, so now that we've gone through all of that, I think that those are the big steps in what you need to know to publish content, to, you know, create content, to engage with people. And I know we've talked a lot about the algorithm, which, you know, is this thing that we don't see, but it exists. So I really I want to focus a little bit of time on speaking about what that means, because a lot of people, you know, either know it and don't understand it, or understand it, and that's great too. But we'll talk a little bit about it here. So what the algorithm is this, you don't know it's there, you don't see it, but it's basically what determines who sees your content. And it's very much a real thing. Every platform has their own algorithm. Instagram has its own algorithm, and they don't disclose what that algorithm is, or else everybody would be able to create successful content and successful pages. So it's up to you, up to your social media managers, up to the marketers to figure out, like, what are the things that make the algorithm preference you. And so all the things that we talked about previously, such as like keywords, hashtags, posting at certain times, which we'll talk about on this next slide, videos versus photos, or photos versus videos, like all of those things are key aspects in how the algorithm chooses to get your content in front of people. It used to be that Instagram was chronological, so everybody would see your post at some point, as long as it was chronological. Now, with, all these other platforms rising, all this competition, all these sponsored advertisements, the algorithm is now choosing most relevant things. So the more engagement you get, the more relevant you are. So they're going to push your content up, and they're going to spit it out to whoever wants to see it. Why, again, posting 3 to 5 times is important is because you're staying relevant. So think of it as like this little ecosystem of relevance. You're letting the algorithm know, like, hey, I'm here, I'm relevant, this is what I'm posting, I'm interacting with people. It knows genuineness too. I know it sounds maybe a little silly, but it can sense genuine profiles versus non-genuine. And what those are is like a genuine profile would be somebody who's interacting with their community, someone who's going above and beyond and like, you know, not only just posting and closing the app, but like posting and interacting with people, interacting with hashtags, interacting with people who comment on their profile, whatever it is, it knows all of that. So, you know, it's a good thing to keep in mind as you're building, you know, the content that you're building, and yeah, hopefully the algorithm preferences you. And then as we're talking about, you know, building all of this content, I do want to say that content really you can draw inspiration from anywhere to build content. Content can be captured at any time, any place, whether you're getting ready for an event, if you're going to visit a gallery, if you're, you know, starting a new painting. I know for the Laguna Beach Arts Festival, you have booths to set up. You know, all of that stuff is really exciting for people to see. Like, people want to see the behind the scenes. People want to see like what you're doing, what that process looks like. So, you know, draw inspiration from everywhere, capture content everywhere, and then figure out how to put it into social media later. But that is probably my biggest tip, is just to continue capturing content and then having that as an archive for later to pull from when you do run into those creative blocks, or you just need something to post. Yeah.
Right. It's a different mindset. You have to always be thinking to have like a library of videos or photos of just exactly what you're saying, getting ready for the festival, building your booth, you know, all things related to it. So yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Alrighty, so the last step here is more on the analytics side. You know, it can be as intricate or as simple as you want it to be, but I do want to have this here. I think it's important, because again, like I said, you're taking the time to create the content you're posting. So why not optimize it? Why not know and understand what's working for you? That way you can get better and better and better and better. And then, you know, it almost works for you. So when we'd look at this, basically how you're going to access your professional dashboard for these insights is through your main page. So when you access it through down here, you're going to see this button that says professional dashboard, and then you want to click on that. When you click on that, it's going to bring you to this slide right here, which shows you a little bit of insights, some other stuff, but you want to click on account insights, see all. So then you click on see all. It'll take you to this overview. And why this overview is helpful, you don't really do anything with it, but you take note of it and you understand it. So like, for example, this is Susan's account after she posted that reel, I'm sure, where she reached almost 2000% more accounts than she had the previous week, which is like insane numbers. Like we're happy with like 10% or 20% or 30%, but she did 2000% more. So that's fun. That's exciting. Not only is it like motivating to continue creating content, but she probably took a hard look at that video and was like, well, what was it? What happened here? Which is where we then were like, oh, you were researching interior design, and that's probably what, you know, happened here. And so it's that mentality of like trying to figure out, well, what's working? Is it the sound? Is it the video? Is it the angle? Is it, you know, like you can really come up with anything, but it's fun to see this because you know it's working for you. And then your followers increase, like that's great, you know. And then you go in to see that follower growth. I love to see where my follower growth spikes happen, because that gives me an insight as to like, was it my community management or engagement? Like, did I engage that day and that's why I saw that spike? Probably. Or did I post a lot that day and that's why I saw the spike? Like, what happened where I saw those spikes of follower growth? Because I want to continue that. I want people to keep following me. And something that I should have mentioned earlier is that followers translate as credibility on social media. So the more following you have, the more you can, you know, charge for your pieces, the more people will think you're a legitimate artist, things like that, where, it builds that credibility for you, in a good way, in the best way. So we want to keep those numbers higher and higher. And this is a good way of looking at where that spike happened. And then to finish off, you can see like the gender of your followers. I think that's a really cool aspect too, because it depends on what you're selling. Like if you are, your audience is predominantly women, okay, that's good to know, because what about what I'm doing can tap more into that mentality? Or what about what I'm doing can tap more into the men mentality, or vice versa? Or if it's equal, like this is a 60-40, so she's kind of equal, that's good. Like what is it about her art that speaks to both sides? And you can, refine your art and your content for that. And then active times to post. So this is, again, an important piece, because if you push out a piece of content, again, you want it to be successful. So it matters the time of day. It matters the day that you post. And paying attention to that is also going to help you, garner the more metrics, the engagement, the views, etc. So the cool thing is you can see per day what times of day are the most active for yourself, and it's personalized to you. It takes data from your content and funnels it into this. So for Susan, she can post basically 9 a.m. or 12 p.m. or 3 p.m. or 6 p.m. Like she can post a lot of different times of day on Wednesday, and that's great. But keeping that mental note, I'm going to push out my content today at 12 because that's the highest peak of when people are looking at my content. That's going to help also make that successful.
Well, that's great. A lot of information, a lot of stuff that we've learned today. It's so informative. And, every time we talk, I learn something new, Betty. And I have to say that since working with Betty, my followers have doubled. So I still have a ways to go, though, from what I can see. And I think following your advice and in posting 3 to 5 times a week probably will help, and some more community engagement would be helpful too. It's helped me create, and you've also helped me create a cohesive Instagram feed, which is great. So thank you so much. I think we have all benefited today from this presentation.
Of course. Yeah. There's a lot to unpack, and there's still more to go, but this is really the basics of how to get started on Instagram and how to be more successful and have that bigger presence on there. And I know we did cover quite a few topics. So just to recap a little bit of what we touched on today. So again, if you don't already have an Instagram account for your art, create one, or if you do, that's great. But remember to create or transition that from a personal account to a business profile. And because that's going to help with, that's how you can see your professional dashboard. You can't see it on a personal account. You can only see it on a business profile. So if you want those insights, you really need to have it as a business profile. And then it also works as like a keyword search, et cetera, et cetera. And then you want to do a concise and informative bio. Again, it can be as personalized to you as you want it to be. There is no right or wrong, but some things to keep in mind is keywords, things that make sense for your style, and then just telling people a little bit about who you are. Creating a cohesive feed, we did talk about how to do that and why that's important. So just look at your feed as it is now, or if you're just starting out, and then think about what are some pieces I can remove or add so that it becomes cohesive. Creating a caption format also helps because it keeps things simple for you. It keeps things easy. You don't have to really think about a new caption every time. And then it also helps the viewer because then they know what they're looking at and they get information from that. And then establishing your content pillars will be a big part of this as well. I think it's a key part in like then starting to build content, because you're going to always reference those and always, you those are like your North Stars of content. And then engaging with communities through keywords and hashtags. Again, I recommend like 5 to 10 minutes a day, or as you post. I would like to see people doing it daily, because I think it's the most effective. But if you just want to keep it to when you're posting, that's okay too. But again, just building that community, networking digitally, you'll see that return. And then analyzing your professional dashboards insights. I think that is a great way to keep on top of what's working for you, and it's personalized to you only. So those are there for you to dive deep into and understand.
What a great
Terrific.
conversation. Yeah. Wow. I learned so much. Thank you, Betty. That was there. I especially love the part about all the data that you can learn from what you're doing.
Mhm.
That was a wealth of information. Great presentation, you guys. I just wanted to put up your contact information for Betty. That was so in-depth and informative. I'm really impressed. I can't wait to make my first reel. That's what I'm excited about. It was cool that you went through each piece for us, but feel free to contact Betty. Here's her information, and she's available as a consultant, a very valuable consultant on Instagram. And just like Susan, I'm sure she'll be improving your presence on social media. It's really important nowadays. I know Instagram is such a visual format, and that's why it's so important for us as artists, because we want to get our images out there and build a great community. So thank you. What a great conversation. I want to say thank you to Susan and Sharon for helping us put this on. And remember, this is the Artist Fund Professional Webinar Series. So here is our information in case you'd like to get in contact with us. These series are wonderful because you can pause them at any time. And I know there's a link we're going to be adding to the YouTube page, so you can go back and look at this and find parts that are super interesting and replay them at any time. They'll be on our website. So here's our website, theartistfund-foa.org, and we're here on phone number, our website also, and look at us. We have the Artist Fund Instagram handle there. We try to post too, but I know we will be better at it after this. So thank you for joining us today. And check the website out. We'll be posting that fairly soon, and you can revisit it as long as you want, many times as you want. We love to present valuable information to artists to help them thrive. So this has been the Artist Fund Professional Development Webinar Series. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.